Hello, my name is Scott Carnegie. I've been working in television for 12 years as an editor, producer, camera operator, yes, stuff like that. So what I thought I'd do is do a little presentation about reality television. I think most people realize reality television isn't real. So what I'll do is I'm going to show you the tricks that we use in television to make reality television. So there we go. The current genre, just a little bit of background. The current genre began in the late 80s and early 90s. Reality television, things like Cops and America's Funniest Home Videos. So that's reality television. Actually more real than any of the shows that are on TV nowadays. But the genre's been redefined. In 2000, Survivor hit huge and it made the genre more popular. It's more of a scripted type of reality television. The only difference between reality television and scripted television is a script. In scripted television, it's more blatant, where you actually have a scriptwriter typing out lines. With the current genre, we have these goal-based things. We have, maybe it's a contest. But the idea is you have participants and you let them do what they're going to do. So you're not actually writing lines for them. But the thing is, it's still a storytelling medium. So where do you find the story in reality television? You have planned situations contrived by producers. And I'll show some examples of that later, where they set up a situation to happen. And then there's no retakes necessarily, it's reality. You're just taping it once as it happens, but they're planned situations. The other place where you find the story is found in the edit. And I'll explain what that means. In the edit, I'll explain that later. First off, there's essential elements of a good story. The main thing of a good story is conflict. You have man against man, man against nature, and man against himself. Any of those three, you'll find that in any good movie or good story. And some conflict will be natural. It just comes about by people interacting with one another. Some will be set up by writers/producers. And that's where I was talking about how you'll have contrived things. So, generally how a reality television show is put together. How is it done? You have several cameras that follow participants. So I'm just going to check something here. Good, okay. You have several cameras following participants. So let's use the example, The Apprentice, where you'll have a group going out to do their task. You're going to have probably 3 or 4 camera operators following those people, and even 3 or 4 sound guys, sound persons. With them. We just call them sound guys, no offense. Following those people as well. So what it does is it gives you a ton of footage, so much footage. This footage is screened daily by editors and producers. So they'll shoot all this footage, they go back, they look at it, they go through it, and what happens is they'll decide on a storyline. They'll say, this interaction over here is kind of interesting, we should focus on this. So what you do is you decide, okay, we're going to tell the story of Jim and Carol and their sort of conflict going on over here, because again, a good story is conflict. So the editors, when you put together the shows, will focus on footage that tells that story. So this is where you have reality not being real, because you're just telling one particular story that you can find in the edit, and I'm going to show you something later that sort of demonstrates that. So an example of natural conflict. We have natural conflict in life. I'm going to show you a clip from The Apprentice where there's a natural conflict between 2 people, David and Clint. So I'm going to show you that. Video. Okay. I didn't bother embedding these in PowerPoint because it never works.
So what I need you guys to do is class.
That's David.
Yeah, I'm serious.
That's Clint.
Oh man, we can do this, man.
I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit.
Task. Do they have anything that looks tropical?
Yeah, but I don't want to put a palm tree.
Clint.
I want to win this
David.
task. I want to stay out of the boardroom. I have everything on the line. I have my life on the line. I was very frustrated with a lot of the chaos and mismanagement.
Hey, Gene. Yes, sir. He's dead sold on a little like the feng shui contest over there. Do you care for those tropical? Make a decision on the plans, and everybody's got a problem.
Skip ahead a little bit.
I pulled Gene aside. I said, Gene, if I start calling to get these colorful plants, it's going to be tense. I would just want you to know that. He said, oh, no. If anything happens, it'll be on me.
What are you doing? You doing flowers? I need to call this lady back, get my TVs ordered, and I don't have time to mess around with these guys.
If you need to call these people to get here in time, then go ahead and call them. I can call both the branch and Lewis.
Okay, sounds good. I'll call these guys too.
No, Dave, give me that back right now. Hey, Dave, give me that right now. I'm not going to screw around with this.
I said I was going to call back my AV department, knowing that I was going to call the flower shop that I had already been talking to. And so I grabbed the list of floral shops.
Gene told me to call these people and get the stuff ordered. Now,
Did he
you
tell you
just
to
settle
call
down.
in?
He told me to call
No, I'm going to
people.
tell you, that put hands on me again, you're going to have a real problem
now listen.
with me.
David could not be reasoned with. He just went from one extreme, this goofy...
I'll just stop there. That gives you the idea. And this storyline this is from the first episode of the current season of The Apprentice, and it's carried through to almost every episode where there's conflict between David and Clint. So it arose naturally. They just didn't like each other.
How much of that do you think is encouraged by...
Well, in that case, you don't actually have to encourage it, because what happens is situations like that wouldn't necessarily have to be encouraged, but they could have been. But what happens is they see that situation, they go back later and do the interviews with the people, and they say, well, tell us about what happened between you and David, right? So now we have a storyline where we have this conflict that happened. They go back later and do the interviews, and they say, okay, this is the story we're going to tell, so ask the guys about this. And now you have a 2-minute segment about the conflict between David and Clint that's carried through for all the seasons so far. I think it's up to episode 4 or something like that. But I'll show you later something that is definitely contrived. Okay, well, that goes into our next clip here, which is contrived conflict. Now, there's a few shows that are so guilty of doing this. I don't watch a ton of reality television. There's a few that I like, but regulars that I like to follow. But oh my goodness, have you ever seen Gene Simmons' Family Jewels? Wow. The other really bad one is Hogan Knows Best. I have to be fans of KISS and pro wrestling. But man, these are terrible shows as far as reality goes. And I'm going to show you a beautiful clip from Gene Simmons' Family Jewels. It beautifully demonstrates the point I'm making, which is why they're so good.
Sorry, honey.
That's all right.
Okay, let me set this up for you real briefly, okay? The blonde there is Shannon. She is worried about
I find new ways to embarrass my kid.
Sorry, her friend got mugged or something like that, so she's worried about safety. So she's having a taser party where they get together and they purchase tasers. It's like
Tupperware.
yeah, it's like exactly Pampered Chef but with tasers. So her brunette friend accidentally got some pepper spray in the eye. Okay, so she's consoling her.
All the time, don't
That's
I?
okay. That's all right. I just
I know
gotta
how
get
to make
going.
it up to you.
That's okay. I gotta get
Alright.
going, but thank you so much,
Okay.
Shane. All righty.
Let me buy you one of these.
Gloria! Oh my God.
What's more important? Making a...
Have you ever seen anyone hit with a taser? Do they go, oh? Like, no. They go, and they fall over. So what are the chances that the lady who got the pepper spray in the eye is also the lady who got accidentally tased in a room full of people? I call bullshit on that. I definitely do. That's probably an actor. Now this is speculation, but I'll say that from my expertise in the field, actors are used on reality shows. I've known a few people that are actors that have been on reality shows and talk shows. Tyra Banks. Sorry, they use actors. Even Jerry Springer, we know they use actors, but even Tyra Banks uses actors sometimes, or actresses. Reality shows also use actors and actresses. I don't have evidence that this particular person is an actor. Could have been a friend that's a bad actor, because that was such a pathetic way of falling from a taser. So, an important point here is Occam's razor. And I won't go all into what that is, but to sum it up poorly is that, the most obvious answer is probably the real answer, or the least amount of new information you have to put in something is probably the correct answer. What's more likely, that the one woman accidentally got tased and pepper sprayed and fell and there happened to be a table right there, or is it that it's probably set up? Okay, clip number 2 from Hogan, from Gene Simmons' Family Jewels. And again, I'll set this up for you. This is from the same episode where Shannon is worried about the security of the home. So she's hired a security guy to come and install some sort of new system.
Miss Tweed?
Oh, I'm so sorry. Sorry.
Again, I call bullshit on that, and why I'll say this is, for one, if there's actual, now he might be an actor, he might be a real guy, I don't know, but he is mic'd. He has a microphone on him, or there's a sound guy right beside him, because you'll hear his audio is clean.
Miss Tweed?
So there's no way she didn't know he was there. Because when you're in your backyard watering your flowers, and you have at least a sound guy by you, and you have a sound guy over by this fellow walking in, those are things you don't notice. There's a producer saying, Shannon, he's going to walk in, and you're going to turn and spray him. Haha, funny, funny. I think it's lame and B-movie kind of stuff. But that's an example of a contrived situation. It's contrived conflict. You know, there was man against man there. Boom, something happened. And
Miss Tweed?
I'll say he's an actor.
I'm
Out of
so
my
sorry.
gut.
Sorry.
By
Sorry.
seeing the reaction here.
Mom, you startle really easily.
So then they go back and do the interviews that relate to the situation
No, I
that
don't.
happened.
I'm here to work on your security
I know.
system.
Sorry.
It's all right. Don't worry about it.
Anyways, he either, like I said, either has a mic on or it's very close. And there's also two cameras here. There's not, because there's one camera angle right there, and then the other camera angle from the other side near Shannon.
Mom, you startle really easily. No, I don't.
I'm here to work on
Okay, so this camera's standing
your
beside
security
Sharon,
I know.
system.
or Shannon, sorry.
Sorry.
That other one's standing beside the guy. So again, pointing out that there's no way she didn't know he was there. So, yeah.
I also called Flower Woman that I don't think she'd be watering her own flowers.
That's a good point. Okay, so now we're going to get into, sorry, I didn't even say the name of my talk. It's Kitchen Nightmares, Dissecting Reality Television. The reason why I bring up Kitchen Nightmares is because recently I watched all seasons of all the Kitchen Nightmares because I was sick for a while and I had nothing to do, so I sat in bed and just watched Kitchen Nightmares. And I was taking notes. I was like, this is awesome. I'm totally going to do a talk on this. So here I am. Okay, so I'll show you a quick clip of Kitchen Nightmares. In case you're not familiar with the show, just kind of set it up.
Tonight on Kitchen Nightmares, Gordon goes to Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love, to help a family business in ruins.
This restaurant's sucking the life right out of me.
Three sisters who are all on the verge of a breakdown.
We have no passion and we have no drive, and I don't even know how to get that back.
Their niece may be the chef, but she wants out.
This is not a career choice for me.
This close family is falling apart.
Okay, I'll just stop it there. That gives you an idea of what he does. He comes in and helps restaurants that are in trouble, helps them in the kitchen, helps them with marketing, and hopefully makes everything better for them. So, that's what Kitchen Nightmares are. So I watched a lot of the show. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you the two methods for creating a scene. You have camera techniques. You've probably heard the term camera tricks. That's what this is camera techniques. There's ways of shooting that allows you to tell the story in editing, because the other method is editing. These are the basic tools you have, your camera techniques and your editing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a scene. And there's a little bit of a tease in here. This is just a short tease that they're playing before they go to commercial.
Unbelievable. Here, we've got a situation with a menu passed down from a bad chef to an inexperienced chef, and all three owners call it comfort food. It's frozen food, and I'm not confident about that at all.
Coming up,
What I saw tonight was embarrassing.
it's a Kitchen Nightmares moment you won't forget.
It's clear you've given up.
The shocking showdown that led to this.
I'm done. I'm out of here.
Gordon, we're so freaking buried and so lost.
I can't help any of you.
Okay, 2 important things. The main thing to notice there is when he says, I can't help any of you. You see him walk out. He's like, I'm out of here. I can't help any of you. Is that what really happened? No. And how we know that is because later in the show, they show you the real scene.
I'm really sorry. I'm left with no choice. I'm done. No way. No chance. I'm out of here. Guys, get out of here, will you? Pick up the elf. one cares here.
So the audio is slightly different than in the teas, but I'm going to show you some of the... But you can see all these camera people and sound people around him. There's at least 2 cameras there, 2 sound guys. Okay, so I'm going to show you the next clip, which really demonstrates, again, that part where he says, I can't help any of you.
Kept it together for her aunt. She just head down and focused like a shepherd. It's really weird because she's not even trained as a shepherd. She just took it in. Anybody?
Oh, wait a second. Sorry.
I'm really sorry. No way. No chance. I'm out of here. Guys, get out of here, will you?
Sorry. Oh. Okay, sorry. I'm supposed to play this one here. Okay, we'll get back to that line a little later. Okay, sorry about that.
Kept it together.
Okay, what I want you to notice here
she just head down.
is this conversation between Gordon and the owners of the restaurant. Okay, so he's there talking to them.
I'm focused like a shepherd. It's really weird because she's not even trained as a shepherd. She just took it in. Claire, Catherine, where's the motivation? Where's the spirit? Anybody?
So he's asking them questions that he wants answers to, and they're just sitting there, duh, right? It makes them look stupid, or it makes them look, you know, like that they don't have an answer for him. But again, is that what really happened? Well, this is how you place cameras when you're doing an interview or a show like that, where you have Gordon here, and then all the owners over there, okay? So person 1 is Gordon, person 2 is the group of the ladies. So you have camera 1 standing beside them, shooting Gordon. You have camera 2 standing beside Gordon, shooting them. What that does is, it gives you a ton of footage of Gordon asking these questions, and they might have answered right away, you don't know. Because what they did was they filled in the footage here of them just looking at him, sort of listening to him. He could have been telling them about tonight's special. You know, it could have been anything. They could have taken that moment of the girls looking at him from any point during that 10, 15 minutes he was talking to them. But you edit it in a way so that it looks like they're sort of dumbfounded, right? So, because, I mean, we don't know how long that conversation was. It could have been long, could have been short, we don't know. So, and again, this isn't definite proof that that's what they did. This is just the techniques you can use to tell the story you want. Because the story is determined by producers and by editors. And if they find a story that they want to tell, then they'll find what they need to do to make it happen. Okay. So knowing that this is the situation we're set up in, this is called coverage, where we have coverage of all these different things. And this is a simple display. You might have 3, 4 cameras, 5 cameras. When they're shooting like The Amazing Race, they have multiple cameras following people. So it gives you a lot of coverage. So the idea is, okay, so I'm going to show you, now that you've been educated and know about how they do that, I want you to watch this.
We're scrubbing toilets. I thought
Okay, this is the setup. They're out on the street, and they have that camera setup I mentioned, where they have coverage of both people, and you'll hear something familiar in here in a moment.
that was passion and heart. We really care, and we do. We just need help. We really need your help. Please help us. Don't leave.
Okay, this is the most open you've been in terms of honesty. I'm not here to blow smoke up your ass. You asked me to come here and help you. I can't help any of you if you're not going to start helping yourselves.
Remember before when he said, I can't help any of you, it sounded like he was walking out and he was done? Right. But here it's the complete opposite. He's encouraging them. The music changes. It's all, I'm here to help you now, right? Totally different message. So you can take that clip and put it in a different context. I can't help any of you. Put it in a different context, it means a different thing. That's editing. That's why TV's not real. I tell my kids, right? My kids are young, and I say, and they think, you know, certain things are real and certain aren't. You know, they kind of know there's between a cartoon and a show. I say, I tell them, if it's on TV, it's not real. News is not real. There's editing in news. It changes reality. I mean, you can be as accurate as possible. That's honest. But as soon as there's an edit, things have changed. So the camera techniques allow for different angles in the edit. Like I just showed with those conversations, those moments of time can take place anywhere within that conversation. I've done the exact same thing myself when I've had to edit things where I'm going to grab, I need a shot of this person looking sad, and I might get it from a half hour before the moment I'm working with. You do what you need to tell the story. So all those camera techniques allow for the different angles in the edit. And there's things we have called cut-ins, cutaways, reaction shots, and the pace of editing, which is what will help change the emotions of the shot. If you edit faster, it makes it feel more energetic. If you do a nice slow edit, things are more relaxed. Now I'll show you an example of that. So, like I mentioned with the we have camera techniques and we have the editing tools, so cut-ins, cutaways, reaction shots. These are things that allow us to manipulate the emotions and set the pacing of a piece. So, and you also use music. If you have a piece that has like rock and roll music, it's going to give you a different mood than if you have some nice, gentle Enya playing behind it. I like Enya. Okay, so the editing pace will increase or decrease tension depending on how fast the cuts are. So I'll show you a clip that demonstrates that, again, from Kitchen Nightmares. So notice at the beginning of this piece, of this clip, there's tension. There's a food critic in their restaurant, and last time he gave them a really bad review, so they're nervous about it. They're nervous about what will happen. So notice the pace of the editing and the music. Those are the two things to notice here.
It's relaunch night, and the food critic from the Philadelphia Weekly is about to take his first bite. In his last review, he called the restaurant Spuddy Hell and ruined the restaurant's reputation.
Watch the camera move, zooms. It was all increased tension. Fast editing, that's like a second in edit almost. Fast editing, fast music.
Very smooth. It's good. So good to everything.
Music changes. Now there's
This
less
is what
edits.
we worked so hard
So
for.
slow the edits are
and
now.
it's not Spuddy Hell anymore. Spuddy Heaven.
Like staying on for 4 or 5
Ironically,
seconds.
the man that virtually destroyed the restaurant with his review is now enjoying dish.
Oh, so easy to manipulate emotions using just music and pacing. Those are the only two things that really changed there. The edits were fast at the beginning, showed worried faces. Then he says, oh, it's great, it's potato-rific. And then all of a sudden, the editing pace really slowed down, the music changed, and now it's like, ooh, a different emotion. And that's how you can use editing to manipulate the emotions. We don't know what it was really like in the restaurant at that moment. We don't know how elated he was or how elated people were. People don't usually just go, ah, all of a sudden in real life. Emotion, it's more of a bit of a curve. But in reality television, you only have so much time to get your message across. So you got to hurry it up, right? You have 22 minutes. TV shows are either 22 or 24 minutes, a half-hour show. That's all you have to tell your story. And keep in mind that this stuff is usually, he's there for a week. So you have to take all that activity of a week's, all the activity that happens in a week, 2-3 cameras each day, all that footage, and make it 22 minutes. So it gives you a lot of source material to work with. So editing, like I said, it distorts reality. As soon as you make a cut, it's no longer real. As soon as you take a moment of time and take it out and put other things together, it's no longer real. It's changed. So we use these techniques to affect emotions and perception. Now this can be used in propaganda films, it can be used in documentaries. Documentaries, by the way, are not real either. They're still a person's perception and the message they want to get across. Because some of these documentaries have this reputation of supposed to be being balanced and fair. No, they're not. They're just a guy's opinion. So let's say we have a day 10 hours long, okay? All those green triangles are the time you had a positive interaction with your kids. You smiled or played with them, whatever. All the red triangles are the times that you yelled at them. Okay, so what we do in editing is we take all those things and take all the bad moments, put it into 2 minutes, and we make you look like a terrible father. This is so easy to do. I have a friend that was on a reality show a few years ago. She was in a VJ search for Much Music, right? And knowing her personality, they made her look like a real bitch. And she does have bitchy moments, but they're here and there. But when you spend a week with a person, you can take all their worst moments and put them into this 2 minutes. And you make them look like a terrible person, and you add some dramatic music, and you've manipulated everyone's emotions to give them the story that you want to give them. It's so easy to do. So when you watch TV, just remember, it's all fake. And they're just trying to manipulate you. But it's entertaining, that's why you keep watching it, right? So, for example, I'm going to show you this little teaser from a different Kitchen Nightmares episode. Oh, so they just get on the emotions so good in here. So this is from the intro of the show. This is at the beginning.
I hate him. Hate.
Tonight, Gordon Ramsay does his best to turn around this New Jersey eatery. He challenges Adele.
Why have you asked me to come here?
He confronts an uncooperative daughter.
You cannot
Fast
see
edits.
a problem.
No.
But it all might be for nothing.
Oh my God.
Because this tropical restaurant might just be impossible to save.
Sometimes it's hard to say goodbye to the past.
I am devastated right now.
Crap! What happened to this person's restaurant? This
The whole thing burned down.
It looks like the whole thing burned down. You see people crying. You see there was a guy. Where was that shot of that guy? Well, the fire guy looks kind of happy. Okay, but later on in the show, let's see what really happened.
The only way I know when I leave White House Station that the tropics aren't going to creep back in is to burn them.
It's just a little pile of chairs and stuff, okay? That's all it is. All the old decor that he didn't like.
Hold on, wait. Sorry, I forgot the most important thing. The sign.
So people are happy, they're celebrating. They're like, yay, get rid of all the old stuff.
Happy I am to see that flamenco sign gone.
Ready? I'm going to leave you to the expert. Thank you so much. Please do it quickly before they change their mind.
So that's what was on fire. Right? At the beginning, it may look like the restaurant's on fire. Here's just this pile of chairs and stuff. Oh, I love it. I love it. It's awesome. It's awesome because that's the power of television, the power of editing, and knowing that whenever you watch something on TV, you're being manipulated for entertainment purposes. Like, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's a storytelling mechanism. Just know that when you see it, you know, don't take everything at face value. And to conclude, a great, beautiful example of how editing...
Somebody had to take the babysitter home. Then I noticed she was sitting on the gummy Venus, so I grabbed it off her. Oh, just thinking about that sweet, sweet candy. Oh, I just wish I had another one right now. But the most important thing is...
That was really great, Mr. Simpson. We got everything we need.
Okay. Say, can you introduce me to the Sasquatch? I like his style. Here comes the bouncing ball of justice.
Tonight on Rock Bottom, we go undercover at a sex farm for sex hookers.
I keep telling you, I just broke Thorgum here.
Uh-huh. And where are the hookers?
Round bed.
But first, she was a university honors student who devoted her life to kids until the night a grossly overweight pervert named Homer Simpson gave her a crash course in depravity, babysitter, and the beast.
Aw, crap. Somebody had to take the babysitter home. Then I noticed she was sitting on her sweet can. I grabbed her sweet can. Oh, just thinking about her can. I just wish I had her sweet, sweet, sweet can.
So, Mr. Simpson, you admit you grabbed her can. What do you have to say in your defense? Silence will only incriminate you further. No, Mr. Simpson, don't take your anger out on me. Get back, get back! Mr. Simpson, no! Dramatization may not have happened.
So that's a little blatant, an obvious example, but pretty accurate with what you can do with editing and television. That's the end, so thank you very much. Thank you. And if there's any questions, if there's a minute, I don't know how much time we have. So.
Question?
Yes.
Is there anything that you have ever done on a show or something that you're like particularly proud or embarrassed of?
No.
No.
That you can answer.
Reality all the time.
No, it's you know, you do what you need to do to tell the story. You know, it's not necessarily dishonest. I give people the benefit of the doubt that they know television is television. You know, it's a storytelling medium. So, but this applies to news as well and documentary. That techniques are used to get across a certain perspective using these techniques. So as long as you just remember that, then that's why further investigation is sometimes warranted if there's something you really need to know about. You know, it's having more than one source, right? That's really the idea there. So.